name is Deepak Chinnam. I am the head of cross-platform services in WPP, where I look after QA, data, service desk, and service management platforms. And the biggest team that I run there is the QA one. Does QA need Agile? No, because QA actually can apply the same principles. For example, you are in a waterfall project. How does it work currently? You have a BA who's actually going and speaking to business. He's doing it on his own. And then he gives the requirements over to an SA. That solution architect is saying, okay, these are the requirements. And I know the system. I can squeeze it here, or I can shave this and I can fit into this. And then he's giving that to a developer who's then taking that design and developing. And then the QA team, who are actually testing team rather, not a QA team, then looking at this design and then saying whether the developer actually has developed based on. So these are all almost like people throwing one over to another. However, even in that model, if we have this collaboration saying when during the requirements, the BA, SA, and the QA and SA quality architects sit together, ask the questions to business saying, are you sure? Do you understand, this is how the process happens. This particular change that you're saying is a real outlier. Are you sure this has to be in the system? Or do you know what acceptance criteria is? Are you very clear? How are you going to use it? And when you start asking those questions, what we found out is business also start thinking, oh, man, I did not think about that. And then guess what? Most of the defects that come as a requirement miss or a design miss, they all are filtered out at that phase, because three teams are together understanding really well what exactly the business is looking for. So as you rightly said, it actually comes to a complete shift in the mindset, not only for testing team, but for everybody, right? You should see this as we are all responsible for quality. We are all responsible for our end user's experience. We all have accountability to make sure that we deliver what we promised to deliver. It's not testing team's job to find the problems. Each of us should take accountability. And the next step is, as we had clarity on what we're building, the testing team can start automating even before the code is ready. So you're not kind of throwing back and forth. And in an ideal world, and that's what we're trying to go to, is you build a script and you can actually give that script almost like a Lego brick. You're doing smaller things and they all come together. You actually give that to a unit testing team and say, how do you know your things will work fine? When the script actually gives you green, right? And then how do you know that something is ready for at a component level? When all these things come together and the computer says yes. So you're kind of building automatically your Agile and DevOps kind of pipeline by thinking differently. Most of the time, it's basically people telling you, okay, development is 100, so industry standard is 30, so you get 30, right? So what I'm actually, the change in attitude that we are bringing, and that's at least we tried, and then we're kind of trying to really push hard, is don't look at the budgets like quality, like development, like BA. Look at total cost of ownership. So if, let's say, you have to spend 40 with QA, but the overall becomes 120, you save 10, right? So look at that bigger picture. So what are we trying to do? So everybody should really understand how the overall budget sits. And when I'm asking something, even when I go to people, I say, look, I'm asking you for extra 10, but what I promise to you is I'll eliminate 20 in here, I'll eliminate 40 in here. So I'll give you about 50 back by taking that 10. And most important part there is you have to deliver the promises that you made. You can't use that as a sales strategy and then forget about it. If you do it, you may be successful once, you may be successful twice. At some point, people will say, yeah, they always say that, but anyway, they'll make me spend more. So we are shifting that focus into delivering the total cost of quality, as we call. It's linked to everywhere, not just the QA teams. So one of the first thing that the QA should be heavily involved in is understanding the business that they are supporting, the users they are supporting. If you don't understand the business, if you don't understand the users, whatever transformation you do will never be right, because you are not transforming for the users, you're transforming it for what you think is the transformation. So having that clarity is super crucial. So that's what I keep saying, lean right, shift left. So you have to lean right heavily onto business, and you start thinking like business. And second thing is having a good understanding of the system, the estate also, right? That's where we see people most of the time. You see the testing team as a bunch of people sitting on their chairs, looking at an Excel sheet, say step 1, step 2, step 3, and then following step 1, step 2, step 3. That's not what we're looking for. We are looking for the bigger picture, as they call, at least what we calling them as a QA architect should definitely have this very deeply ingrained, which is understanding the technical aspects, not a complete deep in-depth of APIs, etc. Just to know that, okay, this system is connected to this system through this. And then finally, the third one is automation first. So if you are not automating fast enough, so even kind of moving away from saying regression automation is automation, you need to say automation has to start from gathering requirements. Automation has to then flow into your design. And that actually, this is what we call as automating the automated scripts. So your automation should then give you the scripts that can be used by everybody, right? So as I first initially said, it's a combination of the architecture, the QA architecture, and the how part, which is the QA technical part. And then finally, having that constant business involvement. Now, when is the most effective thing for quality? Obviously, when you start, right? You have to be involved. And that's one thing that I'm seeing many companies missing out massively. And it's a big deal for us to even get there.